Hello and welcome to another Tech Talk with Luxpower. I'm your host Andy, and this week we're going to be doing the LXP series. We'll be starting with the 5 kilowatt hybrid, and we will be moving on to the unboxing, what's inside the box, how to connect it. We will do a single phase, single unit connection. We will do a 3-phase multiple unit parallel. And we'll just take you through some of the settings. So stick with us and enjoy the ride. Oh, and before I go, we just want to, on behalf of Luxpower, we just want to say thank you to you and you in the back there for your support in the last 2 years, especially with the SNA. It's become the #1 selling off-grid inverter in South Africa. More than 50,000 units sold in a 24-month period. So thank you to you, and to you, and to you, and to you at the back there. We see you. Thank you. Right, so when you unbox the 5 kilowatt hybrid LXP series, you will find in the top of the machine is a top tray, which is the foam cover. Included in the top tray is the wall mount bracket, the black skirt, which I showed in our previous video, which covers up all of your wiring. On this side you have the user manual, which we really encourage you guys to read. It'll take you a long way to making sure that you get your installation done correctly. And there's even a wiring diagram inside, and then there's also a checklist inside the bag to show you exactly what's been packed in here. Then we have 2 cables. You'll notice that they are both gray. One is heat sealed in a plastic. This is your parallel cable for when you create a parallel system in either single phase or 3-phase. This is your battery communication cable, and it is a standard crossover cable. So the older machines that are still sort of being rolled out now are with the red dip switches, and you will notice that it's got a 3 to 5 and 4 to 4 config here. And then we have the CT clamp, right? And that's also quite critical in the whole LXP series to have that. When you do your installation, you have to fit it, regardless of whether you are planning to export or not. Also included is you'll have a set of MC4 connectors. There's 2 male and 2 female plugs. There is a dust cover for the cable inserts on the interface board, which will take your CT clamp and your battery communication cable. And this is quite critical. Remember, we spoke about this in the previous video. It's the only way where insects can get inside the machine if this cover is not fitted. Then we have the power adapters, or the power plugs, and these are marked. You'll see that the grid is marked grid, and the EPS is not marked, and these are unique. This plug will not fit in that socket, and vice versa. Then we have some battery cable shrouds, some 25 by 8 or 25 by 6 cable lugs, and also some grommets. That's included in there. We have some RJ45 plugs and some stainless steel, a packet of stainless steel screws and wall mounts. There's also an Allen key inside there, which is used to fix the cabling inside the plugs. And then last but not least, the dongle. Every machine ships with a dongle. If your machine comes without one, then it's been tampered with. Right, we have the machine mounted on our test bench, and for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go through the bottom switches with you. Starting from the left hand side, we have the battery positive terminal, battery negative. This machine comes with a dual input MPPT. So you have your string 1 here, string 2. And just a reminder, this machine can take up to 8 kilowatts of solar. It can only invert 5 kilowatts to load. So the balance of the PV will be used for battery charging exclusively. So once the battery is fully charged, it will flatline on 5 kilowatts. You can also have you can put a bigger string of PV in a single bigger string and parallel out the inputs here and select 2 MPPTs on the same string. Then next to that we have the rotary DC switch. This is to switch this is an isolator which breaks both positive and negative on the PV, and that is for your DC input. Below that we have an earth mounting for earthing the chassis of the machine. That's also quite important, which is very critical to do in your installation. Next to that is where the dongle goes in, and it has 4 attaching screw points, and the dongle also has an EPDM rubber gasket around it, so that's self-sealing. This is the interface board here, which sits like that, and this is the part that takes your communication. So at the top left we have the battery communication, which is 485 and CAN. So this machine can communicate with batteries that run 485 protocol or CAN bus protocol. The 485, the communication is on pin 1 and 2. So it's 485B on pin 1, 485A on pin 2, or alternatively you're using CAN bus. It uses CAN low on pin 3 and CAN high on pin 4. Then you have a set of dip switches here. You'll notice there are 2. The top row determines the country that you're in and the rule for that particular country. In South Africa will be number 1, which is the NRS 097 rule. And then the bottom 2 are for the parallel function, and we'll go through that in a later video. The machine ships standard with these 2 switched off, and for a single installation you should leave it off. Next to that is where the CT goes in. Remember I told you on the LXP series the CT is very important. So you have to install your CT on the live incoming, preferably between the meter and the mains breaker, and then obviously run your cable in trunking and feed the RS485 plug into here. These 2 plug points here, which is INV485 and DSP, that's going to be used for paralleling 2 or more machines in either single phase, parallel, or 3-phase. And we'll go through that at that time. And then the DRM plug, that is for an additional unit that you can purchase as an add-on extra for controlling a generator stop and start. And then these are your plug points for the AC out and AC in. And remember what I told you, that the plugs are clearly marked. The grid plug will not fit on here, and vice versa. The EPS plug will not fit on there. So that in a nutshell is it. So let's get this machine wired up and we'll get back and continue with the video. And that covers this episode, the unboxing and detailing of what exactly to find underneath, which will allow you to prepare yourself for the installation. In our next episode, we're going to cover the connections, and we'll also take you through the initial startup. So we'll see you in the next episode.